Oh, I'm live. Hello, everybody. How's it going? I think. Hello, everybody. How's it going? My name is King J. I didn't see the countdown, so I just kind of got surprised with everybody else. This is Splatoon, and this is going to be an all scrolls run. The closest thing to 100% that this game has. So I asked chat right before this if we were gonna go girl or boy. I think everybody likes the girl better, so we're gonna do that. And I apologize if my gameplay seems rusty. I haven't ran this game in a bit, other than practicing for this marathon, obviously. So hopefully it should be good. So if we're ready on time, uh, on go, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so this is Splatoon, if you guys don't know. Splatoon is a third-person shooter from Nintendo, where you're a kid who can transform into a squid, and your squid movement is obviously faster, and you shoot paint that you can swim through, and this is the intro stage. So, basically what All Scrolls is, it's the 100% category of the story mode, where we have to collect every single scroll in each level. And basically, there's one scroll per level, and they're usually pretty hidden. And we're going to be getting one per level, and that means that we're not allowed to do World 4 skip like we would in any percent. So you're going to be seeing all the levels in this run, and you'll be seeing all the scrolls as well. So usually this would be the sort of the 100% category. I guess there is technically max percent, which nobody runs. It's not even a category on the leaderboard. But it is a thing where you max out all of your upgrades in the game. But again, no one wants to do that. It requires a bunch of grinding for fish eggs. And it's literally not fun at that point. So All Scrolls is basically 100% for this. So yeah, this is going to be the story mode. Obviously, Splatoon is more of an online-focused game where you play turf wars and stuff like that, which it'll tell us about soon. But we're going to be focusing more on the story mode. And yeah, so this is All Scrolls. I actually haven't run this category as much as other categories. I started off picking up this game running New Game Plus and Any Percent mostly. And then I dabbled more into All Scrolls, and I decided that I wanted to run that as well as some amiibo categories as well. So that's my kind of history with this game. And so this is where the game introduces us to Inkopolis, which is basically the hometown of the Inklings. And the people that we're going to be fighting against, these little Octarians, as we call them, they're trying to steal our power, and they stole the Great Zapfish, and we have to get it back. Along with all the other mini Zapfish along the way. And obviously, there's a creepy man over there, so that's obviously where we want to go. Now, I'm weird, and I don't like using motion controls. Everybody in the Splatoon community likes running with motion controls. It's actually better to run with motion controls. It's more fluid movements and stuff like that. It's faster. But because I'm a weirdo, I don't like running with motion controls, so I actually turn them off there on my gamepad when I have a quick second. So I know, call me weird, call me crazy, but that's my choice. So as for routing, this category and Splatoon in general is really interesting with its level routing. Because before we get to play the levels, we actually have to find the levels because they're invisible, and we have to shoot them to unlock them. And in order to do that, we have routes to open the levels to, like, in a specific order because it's quicker, obviously, for overall movement. So you'll be seeing that later. The first few worlds don't have much interesting routing, but once we get to World 3 onwards, it gets really interesting with how we route around unlocking specific levels. The other thing about routing that you have to know for this game, during Any Percent and All Scrolls, we need to get 100 orbs, or fish eggs, as they're called in this game. We have to get 100 of these by level 3 to unlock Seekers. So I'm going to be grinding in the first 2 levels up to 100 eggs. So I'm going to take a few safety precautions since it is a marathon run to get some extra eggs along the way than I normally would. I could play a little risky and try to save a couple seconds with having to not grab as many of the safety eggs that I'm going to be grabbing. But again, I want to make sure that I reach that 100 total so we can unlock the Seekers, because Seekers speed up things substantially from that point onwards. So right here, you're going to see that I'm going to deviate from the path a little bit here. I'm going to climb up this pillar, which in succession will bring me out to this pillar here. And this is our first scroll, so this is what I mean by they're sort of the collectibles of the game. One thing to look out for each level. So some of them are pretty hidden, some of them aren't. Some of them are just like shoved in your face. But for the most part, I'm gonna have to go out of my way for them. But I personally really like this category, considering that we don't do the famous World 4 skip, so we actually get to see World 4. And it generally just feels like a more complete run than any % does. I'm going to grab the safety box here. Again, I'm only grabbing that because it is a marathon. Usually I would skip that because normally I would get perfectly enough without that box, but I'm going to play it a little safe here. We don't even have to fight these guys, by the way. For the most part, Splatoon comes down to small optimizations where you try to shoot as... basically, small optimizations come to knowing how many shots you need at a given time. Sorry, and yeah, so this game is actually very optimized when it comes to speedrunning, and it actually has a very popular speedrun community or speedrun reputation, specifically for 90%. Stuff like All Scrolls doesn't get as much reputation, but 90% is definitely one of the most popular and well-known categories, mainly because of its showing at AGDQ. So, as you saw there, we will get a sort of gratification for collecting the scroll in each level, and we will get the confirmation that we collected the scroll at the end when we go back to the overworlds, and it will show us that we collected the scroll. So we have to go through that cutscene after every single level, so you'll be seeing that menu pop up quite a lot. Alright, so I messed up with the setup I have usually to kill those guys, and since I'm running low on fish eggs, I'm actually going to kill all 3 of those, because each one of them give me a one fish egg that I want, so. And there will be more grinding for upgrades later, one more after this. It's just that this one's very tight, so I need to be very diligent with my egg count, so I think I should be good with what I'm currently at. Right here we get to do a skip here. Normally you would paint the rest of the wall to climb up it, but because we jump higher in squid form, we can actually just jump into onto the wall from the splashes that the blowfish make there. And coming up here is a very, I'd say one of the hardest skips when you're starting to run this game. This is called Cannonless. Normally we're supposed to take a cannon here to shoot at this wall and ink it up, but because we're cool and we're fast, we can skip having to use it, and it saves roughly 20 to 30 seconds if done well. And that was a perfect Cannonless, so there we go. Very well done. Alright, so I didn't check my egg count when I finished the level, so I'm hoping I have enough.
It is well over 100.
Okay, good. Oh, 108, good. I didn't even check. I wasn't paying attention, so that's my fault. Again, when I run this category, I kind of just, like, switch off my brain, because you have to do this for every category, like any percent and, both any percent and all scrolls, you have to get the 2 upgrades. So, no matter what, I just kind of have a niche for making sure I collect enough. So the next upgrade I'm going to need is way into World 2, so I don't have to worry about my egg count. Now, I'll definitely have 100 by then, so I don't really have to worry too much about it. So the reason why we unlock Seekers, Seekers are probably the most important bomb in this run, and the reason why is because you saw when we unlocked level 3, which is this level here, we actually just use one Seeker to basically open up the whole thing, and it saves a lot of time than just throwing a remote bomb at it. Or one of the normal splat bombs, sorry. Alright, so again, right here, this is the Sunken Scroll here. This one's not really that hidden. Again, they usually put it up on a high platform. That's generally what Nintendo likes to do for all their collectibles in their games. But yeah, so this actually introduces us to the ink rails and moving platforms, and this is where cycles come into play. Splatoon is a very cycle-heavy game for specific levels, and I will point them out when I get to them. But this is one of them, where we want to make a very nice cycle at the end, just so we can get to the end and not have to wait for the cycle to go back and forth. So that was a decent level. Alright. So now we're moving on to our first boss fight, and bosses in this game are very interesting to say the least. They're very spam heavy, and when I mean spam heavy, I mean I'm going to be doing something called bomb spamming. How Splatoon works is when you're shooting your gun, whenever you switch bombs... Oh, whoops, I didn't enter the boss there for a second. When you switch bombs, and you're firing your weapon, the game thinks that you're shooting one extra shot, and adds it to your fire. So, basically, when I'm firing at the big tentacle that the boss lashes out, which is its big weak point, you're going to see me spamming my bombs. And it's not super noticeable right now because we only have 2 bombs unlocked, and they're on opposite sides of the D-pad. But when we get the last of the bombs unlocked later, which is burst bombs, you're going to see me spamming a lot more because I can just roll my thumb over the D-pad and not have to worry about hitting specific parts of it. And basically that just blows up the tentacle a little bit faster, and it saves about 2 seconds each time you do it, depending on how well you do it. So yeah, again, this is bomb spamming, and we will be doing it more than just here, but it's something to know. And fun fact, Tones Ballones, who is very well known for this game and Splatoon in general, he actually found out about bomb spamming because he was just bored when he was doing one of the most boring boss fights, which is in World 3, and just decided to mash on his D-pad one time, and it turned out to be faster. So it's kind of funny how tricks in games get discovered. So, also, I almost missed the cycle there. If you take too long on getting the hits in, Octostomp here has the chance to actually hop back up and reset his animation. So, alright, so I took it really safe there. Basically, you can start moving before you can see your character there, and what happened was I waited till I was visible because basically this is a marathon run, and I want to make sure I don't miss the scroll because I throw a bomb to burst open the Zapfish immediately instead of just shooting it like 5 or 6 times with my gun. And basically you can go into the Zapfish and collect it without grabbing the scroll, and because it's the goop or the ink covers the screen, I just wait for a second and for a little bit of safety to make sure I don't miss it. Alright, here's my fun little game. I like to see how far I can throw the Seeker while this cutscene goes, and it hit the wall. That sucks. Doesn't do anything, I just like seeing how far I can throw it. And plus we need Seekers out anyways for this part to open up the levels. And like I said, Seekers also get, like, explode upon impact, so they're just easier to use and more convenient than Splat Bombs, so that's why we unlock them right away. Like, we hardly ever use a Splat Bomb. We still use them, just not as often as the other 2 bombs. So this is another very cycle-heavy level. This is Splatfest's level. Or I think it's like Spreader, Splatfest, whatever it's called. And yeah, so this, in my opinion, has one of the coolest... Oh, whoops. Okay, I barely made that cycle. I don't know how that worked. I stood on, like, the very edge of that platform as it was moving, so that was pretty cool. Again, this is, like, one of the more hidden scrolls here that we're going to be grabbing. If we jump off the side here, there's a scroll right down here, and that one took me a while to find on my casual playthrough, actually, so... This is the big cycle that I was trying to make, this wall. There's 2 spreaders going opposite directions, And thankfully, I made the really good cycle there, going up the middle. So even though I messed up the beginning cycle, it all came round for full circle because I made the cycle I wanted to hit. Alright, so now that I have the scroll, I can just finish the level. And right here's a little flashy trick. I'm going to be doing a jump off of a small platform here. This is a little bit of a tough jump. If you get hit by any of those enemies there, you will most likely die. So going for that jump is a little risky, and it only saves like a few seconds. It saves like maybe 5 seconds. Not even. Alright, so coming up here is something you're going to see a lot later. I'm going to be doing something in Splatoon that you can do in the overworld. I'm going to unlock a level, but I'm not going to enter it yet. And the reason why I do that, you may think that's like a waste of time, but the reason why I do that is because in Splatoon, once you unlock a level, it becomes available to you whenever. And you can basically access that level from any point of the map afterwards by launching to it, by touching it on the gamepad. So we're going to come back to that level when I have burst bombs. So we're going to unlock it now, but we're not actually going to play it yet. So we're going to wait until we unlock burst bombs, but it's just faster to unlock that along the way instead of going for it later. This level is probably one of the shortest levels in the entire game. And this is also the level I'm notoriously known for. So back in the day when I ran 90% a lot, I am known for being on Glad Jonas for this level because I actually soft-locked in this level, because basically what happened was it was found out that if you die by an enemy and kill an enemy on the same frame, those enemies will cease to exist unless you reset the game. So I killed those set of Octarians that we saw just a second ago, and I died on the same frame during one of my 90% runs, and they didn't respawn. So I got on Glad Jonas for that, and soft locks and speedrunning. I just love pointing it out because it's one of my fame moments. So there we go. That was Gosher Gauntlet, one of the easiest levels in the entire run. So coming up here, I named this level Rip Octoskip. The reason why, there's a really cool glitch in this level that we do in any %, New Game Plus, basically all of the categories, but because we have to grab a scroll in this level, and we have to deviate from the path, we don't get to show it off, and it looks really cool if we do. So this is the level where we do something called Octoskip, where we mess with the game's AI functionality, and you can trick the game into thinking that you collected the Zapfish when really the Octarian did, or the Octoling did. So it's actually really interesting. So I would really like to show it off. Maybe if we have time after I'm done this run, maybe if I go over underestimate, I can show it off, just because it's a really cool trick, and I love showing it off to people who never know about it, because when you see it, your mind's blown. If you've never speedrun Splatoon, maybe you just play the online, but you've never gone to the speedrun scene, it's a really awesome looking trick, to say the least. But sadly, we have to go out of the way to get that sunken scroll, so we have to skip it. So I like to call that the Octoskip skip. So yeah, and that's why I say, like, this is probably an easier category to get into than any %, in my opinion, because while any % is shorter, yes, by like 20-ish minutes, even though it's shorter, any % has more glitches to learn, and more harder skips to learn as well. So in my opinion, like, even though this run is longer, it's way easier than any % in my honest opinion. So this area might look familiar because we saw it like 10 minutes ago. This is the tutorial setting, and basically, whoops, that's bad. That's a bad cycle. So this is one of the many levels where you will play either right now we're playing the tutorial, or you will play a level based from the online. This is the Octostriker level, where there's going to be this guy shooting ink strikes at us on a cycle, and then we have to end it with a fight afterwards. And then there's also Octoling invasion levels, where you have to fight a bunch of Octolings on the way to the goal. And these are really quick levels, where you just like race yourself through a level from the online or something like that, and get to the goal. Yeah, and that's a thing. Some people who run this game, a lot of people who run this game, never even knew about the soft lock until it happened to me. Um, like I said, it was a huge surprise to me, and you can still find it on Glad Jonas in soft locks and speedrunning, or I think it's crashes and speedrunnings now. I think he changed the name of it. But there we go. That's the unidentified flying object level. All right, so there we go. Right here, we're actually gonna go ahead and unlock burst bombs here. So this is why we needed 100 fish eggs for this level. And the reason why is because this level right here, there are these fans that we can either shoot a couple times to raise upwards, or we can make it 10 times easier. Nice death, by the way. Or we can make it easier for us and just throw a burst bomb at it, which explodes upon impact as well, but throws like a normal bomb. Oh my god, please, dude. I'm having a tough time on this slope right now. Holy. And it basically just shoots the fans up immediately with a great burst of speed instead of going very slow with normal shots. So it just makes it much easier and convenient. Alright. So the sun can scroll for this level. We're just going to shoot this up a little bit. And our sun can scroll is hidden underneath. So there we go. Oh, that's bad. Come on, get up. Alright. Now, this level this part right here, a lot of the times we can actually just pay the enemies in this game no attention whatsoever. But not here, however, because we actually have to kill these enemies to progress. And this shows that sometimes, like, you have to kill some enemies and sometimes you won't. So you have to know that for the speedrun. You have to know what's needed to progress for Splatoon when you run it. So, and also right here, the magic number is 3. So I want to hit these fans 3 times just so it gets to the perfect height, so that I don't have to keep shooting them. And it makes it so that it gets low enough just to the height and not too low for me to jump on it. Alright, so like I said, that's where we unlocked burst bombs, and now that we have burst bombs, we can just, as soon as we exit out of the scrolls there, we can just tap on this level that we unlocked much earlier in the run, and we can play it now. And this actually works out as well because this level is really close to the boss, and we have to make our way to the boss after this one anyhow. And the reason why we need burst bombs for this level is, again, because they're just faster. Because normally it would take a few shots to blow up these sponges, but with one well-placed burst bomb, it blows it up immediately. And you may see that I'm not going to be using the burst bombs all the time, and the reason why is because you need a very precise shot with the burst bombs. You need to hit them directly head-on for them to instantly blow up like that, and aiming in this game perfectly head-on to a very small target is a little bit harder than it may seem. Alright, so right here I'm going to do some AI manipulation here. These guys are going to come after us. I'm just going to, you know, have them come over here, and they're going to die. There we go. And that makes the launch pad spawn. Alright, so right here, you're supposed to have these guys, these Octarians over here that shoot. You're supposed to have them shoot at the sponge to shrink it, but because that's slower and you have to wait for the shots, it's actually faster just to have that guy explode on us and shrink that as well. So, alright, so I tried to do a bomb throw there and I was bad at it, so. Again, generally I'm not very good at aiming the bombs, so you can do another cannonless here, but because it's only faster to do cannonless here if you can get cannonless perfectly, I just take 2 shots because with the cannon, because it only saves time if you can do it perfect every time. So, and because I can't, it actually saves time for me to take some safety shots. And there we go. That's World 2. So far so good. We're not missing any scrolls. That's all that matters. If we miss a scroll, that's like the biggest issue that can happen in this run. And now that we have this done, we can go to the boss. So like you may have noticed, this boss basically, the way this game progresses, you have a set world with set levels. Also, I'm having a really tough time recently climbing up different walls. I don't know why. So you have a set amount of levels in each world that you have to beat to unlock the boss. And like I said earlier, there is this way that we can skip World 4. Oh, sorry for that. In any percent, around the zip lines that take us to the next world each time, they're actually loaded. So you can actually like touch the platforms, even though it may not seem like it. So if we basically how World 4 skip works in any percent is also now you can see the full product of bomb spamming and how wonderful it is. I'm going to be doing a lot in this boss. But basically in any percent you can, there's a thin line that you can ink and you can also squid onto with a very precise setup and lining up. And basically the reason why it works with only skipping World 4 is because World 4 is the only exit that doesn't have us using one of those ink lines, so we can just skip it and get to the next world with a very precise setup and jump from onto the platform right next to the electrical gate, and it won't push you off if you're not close to it. Like, because when you're in squid form in the ink, oh whoops, I'm having a tough time aiming at his little belly buttons here. Your hitbox is basically just like a pixel wide. So yeah. Also, this is Octanozzle, a very easy boss fight and a very bomb spammy kind of boss fight. So there we go. Just wanted to have something to explain during that boss fight. Like for the boss fights in this game, there's not really much to explain other than just beating them, and because usually it's just have them reveal their hit point and then hit their hit point. And there you go. It's basically it. Alright, so now that we're done with World 2, we start to move into the fun part of routing. Routing, for the most part, isn't really that interesting until you get to World 3, where we start unlocking levels that are really, really far away, and then launching to them later, as we saw earlier with that one level. But this time it's actually necessary, and it's way faster than just getting from point A to point B. We can just launch to it. So you'll see what I mean when we get to the specific one in this world. You'll be seeing a lot more in World 4 and World 5. But yeah, specifically, this is where it starts happening a lot now. Because you saw we did a little bit of it in World 2, but we didn't have to. It wasn't that big of a deal. We just wanted to wait for burst bombs. So right here, this is where routing gets interesting because the levels are so spread apart that we have to kind of think of unique ways and the fastest point A to point B setups for these levels. So this is our first level of World 3, where we have Inkrail Skyscape here. And this is a really cool level. Fun facts, this is probably the hardest, in my opinion, I found this to be the hardest scroll casually, because I just didn't notice it. And it may sound dumb, because when you see it, it's pretty obvious, but back when this game first came out, I wasn't really, like, going for 100% in this game, so I kind of just, it slipped my mind. Oh, whoops. There we go. Come on. Where is he? That was weird. He kind of escaped my mind there, or escaped my grasp. Alright, these things right here, these little ink rails are so hard to hit when they're on the side there. I absolutely hate them. So it's right here that you'll see. This is the sunken scroll there, and again, I just didn't notice this the first time I played it, so... Maybe that's just me being dumb, it probably is, but... There's probably like 100 people who are like, oh, I saw that, like, really right away. I didn't. Okay? I didn't even know sunken scrolls were a thing until, like, I went back and looked for them. I think I found one accidentally, and then the rest of them I went for afterwards. Alright, so right here we actually use a special that the game gives us. Oh, and I accidentally missed him, so... basically, throughout the course of the game now, actually, it has been giving them us, or, sorry, it's early in the morning when I'm doing this. So I'm going to be flustered with words. But the game gives us specials that you would access in the online multiplayer, but they give us in the single player a few chances to use them. Specifically, we're going to be using the Igzuka the most. And the reason why is because it can kill a lot of enemies really quickly. So for specific areas where we have to kill a bunch of enemies to progress, obviously that's the better idea. Alright, so there we go. That's our first level of World 3, and it begins. Alright, so that jump right there is a little scary, especially when you didn't ink as much as the wall as you wanted, like me. So I tried to ink more of the wall, but I missed. So this is the butt clincher of the run, everybody. This is the first of two very luck-dependent runs. Oh, whoops. Missed the key. So, these flutters can do whatever they want. I'm at the hands of the flutters now, so we're gonna hope that the flutters are nice for the cycles that they give me. It's mainly for the last parts, and there's two flutter levels. One in this world. Also, that jump right there is pixel perfect, and I got it first try. Hey. There's one in this world, and then there's one in World 5. This is the more luck-dependent one, so let's hope for some good luck, get some bless RNG in chat. Luck can go from anywhere from saving time to losing around 2 minutes. So we'll see what happens. Basically, I'm gonna need to go kill this guy on the last little planet that I go to, and I'm going to need the flutters to be in a good position so that I can just be on a straightaway straight to the guy. And that's going to make more sense when I actually get to it. Alright, so right here, let's hope it's good. And looks like they gave me a pretty nice... Okay, they actually gave me a pretty nice... Whoa, wait, where is he? There he is. Okay, he ran away from me, but that was still good RNG. Okay, so that wasn't as bad as I've had it before. I've had it where I've lost like 2 to 3 minutes, so I will take that. It's still time loss, but it's way better than it could have been. And yeah, this is definitely like the worst part of the run. This is where any percent and all scrolls come to die. But there we go. So that was pretty decent RNG. They gave me the good RNG, but the guy that had the key went the wrong direction. So that was the bad part of the RNG. So it was still good RNG, but could have been better. Alright, that jump right there is a little hard to do because it kind of ate my jump there. Alright. So this is our first of the Octoling levels I mentioned earlier during our Octostriker level. It was like the second of the Octoling levels. I didn't really mention the other one. That was the Octoskip level, but... this is, in my opinion, the hardest of the Octoling level because I think it's a good time to mention shot RNG and how it works in this game. So, I mentioned RNG in the last level. It was pretty big and it was pretty worrying. Basically, throughout the entire course of this run, there is RNG throughout the entirety of this run. So, and I have to adapt to it no matter what. The way this works is there's this thing called shot RNG. So you may see that I have a cursor on the screen of where I'm going to shoot. Only the first shot that I shoot out of my gun when I'm aiming actually goes there. From then on, my shots can either go left, right, or middle. And I want it to go middle, obviously, because that's where I'm aiming. And yeah, so that's where shot RNG comes in, and it's pretty annoying. Also, that was really dumb. So, as you saw there, I was throwing a bomb at a level to unlock it, and I thought the last bomb went onto the platform, so I just decided to trust it, and I guess I shouldn't have done that because it didn't go on the platform, so that was my issue. But yeah, so that's shot RNG, and it's very annoying and very, like, it's something that I have to adapt to throughout the course of the run. And it's not that big of a deal when you upgrade your gun later, but since we're not upgrading our gun at all, we're done all of the upgrades that we're doing in this run totally. All we were doing was unlocking Seekers and unlocking Burst Bombs. The rest, it's not worth it to unlock anything. So, for the most part, it's very luck dependent for like the entire course of the run, but those flutter levels are very, like, RNG based and to like the max. But there we go. So, you may notice that I actually got to skip the cutscenes of both the Octarian levels and the Undeniable Flying Object. levels, and the reason why is because after we do one of each level, the game kind of understands that we don't want to watch those cutscenes anymore, so they let us skip the cutscenes, which is nice. So because I missed the shot with the bomb, I'm actually gonna have to shoot it again. Oh, whoops, that's not the one I wanted. And this is a pretty annoying shot to, or annoying bomb throw to hit. Oh, come on. No, come on, man. I shot to the wrong one. Alright, we're losing a lot of time here because I obviously missed the bomb throw. There we go. Alright, now onto this level. But yeah, so, like I said, this is where awkward situations like that can come into play, where my overworld movement just doesn't work, my bombs don't land where I want them to land. But yeah, along with that, along with shot RNG, the thing I was going to mention in that level, because it was actually important to that level's very annoying because Octolings also have shot RNG. They have their own shot RNG, so they can either go where they're aiming, or they can go, or their shots can go completely the opposite direction of where they're aiming, and it's not good if their shot RNG just decides to target you completely. So thankfully it didn't there, and I had a deathless situation, but I have had situations in the past where I just have game overed in that level because all the shots seem to be magnetized towards me. Alright, so there we go. That was like one of the most straightforward sunken scrolls in this game. And yeah, just around the corner there is like the easiest one. So also, this is a very cycle-based level, but because of the fact that we have to get this, the scroll here, we can't really make the cycles that we want to make, sadly, so all the cycles that we're going to be making are the slowest cycles that we can get. And it doesn't matter how fast you do it, no matter what, it's going to be a bad cycle. It's just how this level works. However, we're going to try to make a good cycle here. We're going to get up onto this one. I could have gotten all three of them, but because I messed up, I didn't get to. Alright, that's bad. Alright, pretty bad level overall. And each cycle that I miss in this level loses about 7 seconds. Alright. So now we have our last level in World 3 before we get to move on to the monstrous World 4 that no one ever sees. We are going to do this scary level. This level is a terrifying part of the run. Basically, this is Invisible Avenues, and how this level works is you can't see anything until you ink it. And it has invisible platforms. Unless you ink it with your ink or enemy ink, you can't see it. So, because of that, oh god, see, okay, that's bad shot RNG. If you wanted an example of it, there you go. That's the worst shot RNG that could have happened. And you saw like all of his shots got magnetized to me. That's what I mean. Stuff like that can happen, and it's horrible. Don't do it again. Don't do it again. Thank you. That was annoying. So yeah, this level has a very interesting skip, and it also has a really interesting scroll as well. This one, I think, took a lot of people a little bit of time to find this one, at least. And it's actually like in plain sight right here. You can see it there. It's just you don't know how to get to it. You just gotta jump off the edge. And again, that one, when you don't know that sunken scrolls are in this game, you don't look for that. So that one caught me by surprise when I went back and actually went for the scrolls. There we go. And I actually, I would like to take a moment to just say how wonderful this story mode in this game is. It's actually very, like, not as, like, praised as I feel like it should be. In my opinion, this story mode for this game was really good for a third-person shooter. And I think Nintendo did very well with the concepts that they were doing in each level. Each level has, like, a new gimmick that it introduces or expands upon, and I think it does really well at that. And along with that, like, probably one of the coolest at the time final bosses that Nintendo has had in any of their games. So right here we have Fight Skip. This is a very interesting skip where basically you're supposed to fight all these different Octolings here, Octarians. I keep messing those two up today. But because of how the game acts, basically, the game will spawn the next set of Octarians either after you kill the set of Octarians or you jump onto the platform for the next set of Octarians. So we can just skip having to fight all of them because of that, just by jumping from to each of the platforms before they spawn. And so yeah, now we are done World 3. World 3 is actually one of the fastest worlds levels-wise. Like, the levels here don't take that long. Now, World 4, on the other hand, not as much. The reason why people hate World 4 and why World 4 gets such bad flack is because the reason why we skip World 4 and how wonderful it is to skip World 4 in general is because of the fact that in World 4 there's 2 auto-scroller levels, there's a bunch of extra cutscenes that you won't see in any percent, and there's also one of the worst bosses in this game. So, just to top it all off, and you get to see that in this run. So, for better or for worse. Alright, so this is Octoma. And this is actually, fun fact, the boss that I was talking about earlier, where Tones Ballones actually found out about bomb spamming, so yeah, you just gotta paint a path for him to go in here. So we'll just wait here for him. And, because, like, basically, he found out about it because he golded the splits by, like, 2 seconds. And this is a boss that you don't gold. Unless you find something crazy like that, so shouts to that incredible discovery that he found at that time and place. And now he's gonna move the floors, but again, I've played this game many times. The floors don't really hinder me. Once you run this game once or twice, you basically know how to run this game. Honestly, I think this is like one of the most accessible speed games out there. Obviously, the Wii U is not commonly known as a good platform, but I think this is like one of the best speed games on the Wii U out there. It's one of the most unique as well. As far as exclusives go, that is. Some may argue 3D World. I don't like 3D World. Well, running it at least. Alright, I'm just gonna make a path here. And there we go. That's the boss. So, now we're gonna be moving on to World 4, the scariest part. No one's ever seen World 4 outside of any percent. I'm scared just thinking about it. Oh, the auto-scrollers. It's just scary to think about. No, but there is one really amazing skip that we get to do in this category, and I think you guys are going to be underhyping this. I need to mention, there is World 4 skip, yes, but what I think is better than World 4 skip is World 4 skip. And we're going to be doing that at the end of World 4, where we skip doing World 4 skip. I know, it's crazy, but the way we do it is the game kind of has flags for finishing the world. So what we do is we beat World 4, and it skips having to do World 4 skip. And it saves absolutely no time, but it's basically like XD skip in Super Mario Odyssey. So, like, it doesn't save time, but it looks cooler, so why not? And plus, we have to get scrolls anyway, so we're going to do World 4 skip. Oh, sorry, World 4 skip. God, I keep forgetting the name because it's so awesome. Alright, so right here, this is our way to go forward into World 4. And World 4 has some really unique routing, actually. So you'll be seeing it here. We're actually going to go to... There's 2 different spots, or 2 different halves of World 4. The underground section and the above ground section. And there's 3 levels per section. So we have to get to both of them. So this is the first level of World 4. This is actually one of the coolest levels in World 4 that I'm actually upset that we skipped in any percent. There are some cool levels here and there in World 4, just the bad levels overshadow the good levels, sadly, as it goes, and it's the reason why we love that we can actually skip it, so. There's our sunken scroll, very in the open. I was trying to go fast there to make this cycle. Thankfully, I did make it, where we can just barely make it back to that platform. And we did, so I'm proud. This is what I like to call the Pac-Man block. Basically, this block is shaped like Pac-Man. Waka waka. And this is a pretty cycle-based level again. Only at specific points, though. So it's not that big of a deal if I miss a cycle. Because it's not global cycles. It's just cycles from when you enter a platform to when you get to the next platform. So it's not like the other global cycle levels, like I said. There is one cycle-based level in World 4. Again, it's the other cool level that we get to do in World 4, which is what I like about all scrolls. Also, I manipulate where these guys are going to land by, if I stand on one side of that cage, they will go to the completely opposite side and land there, so I move to the right so they would spawn on the left, just so I know where they're going. And there we go, that was that one. That was Spreader Splatfest, and this is what I mean by extra cutscenes. You would not see this cutscene. This cutscene only happens when you beat one level in World 4. So we actually skip this cutscene in any percent, but because we're doing all scrolls, we get to see everything. Which I guess you guys get the lore, so maybe that's a good thing. Alright. So this, again, we're going to be opening up a level here, but we're not actually going to do it. We're going to throw a bomb right here. And throwing this bomb so it doesn't fall off the ledge is a little worrying. There we go. And now we're going to go into this level. And we're not going to go back to that level for a while. Again, the routing in World 4 is where it gets really interesting. Now this is what I mean by this level's more or less just an auto-scroller. Because we have these propellers here that we saw earlier. But this takes the propellers to a whole new boring type of level. Because later we have to wait for the propeller to scroll all the way back, and it's super boring and super doesn't give us anything to do during that time. It's just like I want to justify World 4, and I think the design of these levels are really cool. Just not good for a speedrun. So it's ironic that I feel like Nintendo knew about World 4 skip because they made the most boring world for speedrunning. And they made it the only world that you can skip. I feel like they knew what they were doing. I don't know. Maybe there is some behind the scenes about that. I don't know. It just seems a little too good to be true. Like, what if you could just skip World 1? No one ever talks about that. World 1 skip. Alright, anyhow. This is what I mean by more or less an auto-scroller. We're gonna shoot... Oh, well, that's weird. We're gonna use this cannon here to shoot this fan platform forward, and now we wait, and we wait, and we wait. We wait, and we kill, and we hunt our prey, and then we wait again. We can ink this wall up here, gives us something a little bit to do, because we do need to ink this wall. It's where our scroll's gonna be. We climb up this wall, ink the platform, jump over here, there you go. So that's something we can do during that auto-scroller, but really there's nothing else to do. Right here, I know exactly where these guys are going to spawn, so basically I just send out a Seeker here. He's going to spawn right here. I go to this side, and he's going to spawn right there. So I love after playing this game so many times, you can you know the ins and outs of this game. You know what the enemy spawns, you know everything. And it's interesting because of that. So it seems like I just, know where they're going to land, and that's because I do. Because their landing is very manipulatable. Holy, I can't speak. And you can force them to land in specific spots. Alright, so this is probably the best part of World 4 for this run. Basically, this is a Sniper Ramparts. Probably the coolest level for a speedrun. So, again, this is at least a good part of this part of the run. But like I said, the bad overflows the good, sadly. There's a lot of cool skips I can go for here, but because I'm bad, I'm not going to go for too many. I could have skipped killing that sniper there by just jumping over the boxes with a very precise jump. But because of the dangerousness of doing that, because of getting sniped, it'll kill all of your speed and you won't make it. I just decided not to go for it. But I will do this one. That one looks cool too. And we already got our scroll, so we're basically good to go for this level. There we go. Alright, so now this part right here, we're just going to completely bypass this guy. We're going to ink this right here. Okay, and try not to die, which I think I did okay of, not dying. And right here, I like that Nintendo actually does think of speedrunners every once in a while, because they did add these walls here to skip going around the long way. We can just climb up here, go up this way, and climb up to this guy. So again, they do think of us every once in a while, but... So that's why I kind of think, like, they knew what they were doing for World 4 Skip. I don't know. You guys can make your own decision, but I completely think they knew World 4 Skip was a thing. That's probably just me, though. Alright, so there we go. Now that that level's done, we get to do a very cool unlocking style for this next level. We're going to unlock this level, but not do it right away, like usual for this game. We're going to throw a bomb up here, throw another one. There we go, that unlocks that level. And we're not going to go to it yet. We're going to come back to that one much later, after we do this level. We're going to do this level first, the Octoling level. And so we unlock those two levels because they're so out of the way. So we just unlock them right now. And we'll come back to them later, basically. And also, this level looks familiar because we did a... oh god, that's bad. Okay, their shot RNG was a little too off the hook for me. So, yeah, basically... Okay, this is a very scary level, by the way, because of shot RNG, so I'm gonna hope... Okay, good. That guy can either walk right, or he can walk left, and he walked... he walked right, so thankfully. That's the way you want him to walk, because he will not hurt you like that. And this was actually a really good level. This is one of the scariest levels in the entire run, so I'm glad it went well. This level can go really bad really fast. That was a very perfect run of this level. That is by far the scariest of the Octoling levels, by far, is the Bluefin Depot one. But we already did what am I trying to say? We already did a undeniable flying object level in that level already, so it's kind of interesting because that level, we have to kind of remember which scroll is in which level and which variation, because they both look the same because they're both on the same stage. So yeah, just remembering which one is which. They're both generally in the same area, but you just gotta remember that. And now this level is very interesting. This is a very cycle-based level, and I'm on a very bad cycle, it seems, right now, so I'm hoping the cycle will get better. This is where I can test what cycle I'm on. Okay, this is not a good cycle, sadly. I had to get the climbing wall cycle, so that means I'm on probably the second slowest cycle. Yeah, probably the second slowest. Yeah, so that's not good, but hopefully this cycle will work still. I'm hoping the cycle will still work because I'm trying to base what cycle I'm getting on so I can adjust to how fast I have to be at the end. Because there's this entire level is on a global cycle. For basically, like, as soon as I enter the level, all these platforms are moving, so. Okay, so I made a half cycle, that's good, I guess. It could have been better. Basically, I was trying to get up all three of these platforms at once. Oh my god. The save. Oh my god. That room was almost dead there. Whew. Okay, that was very scary. But yeah, and again, each cycle that I missed there loses about 8 to 9 seconds. So I'd say that was the second fastest cycle I could have gotten. Again, that's not saying much because I was on the slow cycle at the beginning. So probably that was the slowest cycle. Because we got half cycle, we didn't get to climb up all three in a row. But yeah, that was still a decent level. And now we do the Octostriker level, so we do one cycle-based level, and then we do one really short level. So again, it's mixed up. There's some really fast levels and some really long levels and tedious levels in World 4, but overall, I think it's over-disciplined. I think it doesn't deserve the hate that it gets, because, again, for people that run any percent mainly, they'll complain about World 4 and be like, oh, I'm so glad we skip it. Nah, there's still some cool stuff in it that I think deserves to be shown every once in a while. So whether you run New Game Plus or stuff like that, I also run New Game Plus. That's actually the first category I ran. It's very accessible to anybody who is scared about speedrunning and doesn't want to delete their profile. There we go. Alright, so you saw that I actually collected a Ink Strike here, and the reason, or sorry, the Inkzuka here, and the reason why, well, I died before I could get it to happen. Basically, I was going to kill that guy with an Inkzuka, but because I messed up, that didn't happen. So, thankfully, if you die there, you just spawn right back at the boss, so didn't lose too much time, but still was a little upsetting that I missed the quick kill. And there we go, that is World 4. Now we're going to be moving on to the boss fight, and like I said, all of this wouldn't be as bad if it didn't have the worst boss in the game, in my opinion. This boss, it's bad. I hate this boss. Octama is, say what you want, you can have your own opinion. I hate Octama with a vengeance and a passion. I just really don't like this boss. Basically, you have to throw bombs in its mouth and stuff like that, and it really drains your ink really quickly. So, hopefully, it doesn't go horrible. And because we don't have our gun upgraded or anything like that, it's going to take a lot more shots to actually break off the teeth from Octama during each phase. So I'm just hoping that it goes well. We'll see. It can go either or for me. Also, I'm using burst bombs because it's the bomb that consumes less ink when you throw it. It only consumes like 50% of your ink usage. So we can throw 2 if we miss Octama's mouth like I did in that one instance. Alright, and also you want to watch out here because Octama can actually blow you back off the arena. So you actually have to watch out there for that. Oh, whoops. That's not good. And again, bomb spamming to the fullest whenever we can. And yeah, for the most part, you'll see that when I break off a tooth, when he opens its mouth, the tooth that I broke off will be on the opposite side that I broke it off from. So that's something good to notice, and something you notice when you run this game more. The gold teeth here are the hardest ones to break off. Whoops. Okay, so this is what I didn't want to happen. This is what happens when you miss, and it sucks. He's gonna shoot his teeth, and they're gonna shoot at us with like projectiles of some sort, and it's really, really bad. And yeah, there we go. So that was a very bad boss fight because we missed the tentacle, or missed the bomb throw there. So we're gonna lose like about 40 seconds to a minute here. That's a little sad. We were actually on PB pace up until now, so that kind of sucks. Oh, whoops. No! It happened! Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that boss. We're gonna do it one more time. This is what I meant, but I was gonna play the bosses safe. Oh my god, no! Oh, this run's going to... Oh no. Like I said, this is the worst thing that could have happened. So, yeah. That sucks, actually. That really sucks. Basically, I hit the Zapfish without collecting the scroll. Somebody asked what my PB was. My PB is 1 hour, 22 minutes, 48 seconds. And that was actually in the last marathon run I did of this game, so it's not optimized at all. I actually golded 3 times in this run. 2 of the golds were over 30 seconds of a gold, so I definitely have a lot to go with this run. I just need to do more runs of it. But oh, that sucks, man. I can't believe that. I think that's the first time that's ever happened to someone in like a marathon setting. So yay, we made history, but come on, dude, really? We made history? I hate that. Oh, I hate history. It's my least favorite subject. At least the good news is now that we're refighting the bop, now that we're refighting, I almost said bop because I read bop in the chat. Now that we're refighting the boss, we can just skip all the cutscenes, thankfully. But oh my god, I'm still mad that that happened. I'm very mad. Yeah, I was actually on the pace to bop you if I didn't do that, dude. Yeah, honestly, I've only run this category like I think 3 times. 2 of which were marathon runs, and each of them have been PBs. So honestly, I guess a bad marathon run of this is bound to happen eventually. So there you go. But yeah, I easily have the possibility to do a good run of this and get a competitive time. I don't know. I've been focusing more on improving any percent, and back in the day, I was more focusing on New Game Plus. So yeah, I don't know. I just never really focused too hard on all scrolls. Really, I don't know why. I never really had a reason to. Anyhow, now comes the time. I know you guys have waited. Here's World 4 Skip Skip. And there it is. Oh, first try. Let's go. you could tell how like devastated I was, dude. Oh man. I didn't expect that to happen. I really didn't. I was really hoping it wouldn't happen. To make a horrible boss even worse. There you go. Yeah, Lori, I think we're like side by side on most of the Splatoon categories. I think that's how it goes for us. So I think you and I are actually no, you're farther than I am on oops, I meant to switch this bomb. You're definitely better than me at any percent, that's for sure. Alright, there we go. Alright, so this is World 5. With that out of the way, we're going to be behind by like 3 minutes now because of that. Whatever. We're still on pace to be under estimate, thankfully. That's why I put my estimate at 130 all the time, because stuff like that can happen, and it's horrible when it happens, yes, but that's Splatoon for you, okay? Like, it happens. And that would definitely be a reset point for me if I could reset. Also, nice death. I love that. Oh man, I love that. Whew! This run's falling apart really quick, guys. Does anybody know a paramedic? Because I'm choking really bad. Okay. Alright. There we go. I wanted this so I can kill you. There we go. Okay, there we go. I went a little silent there. I'm just trying to focus and not screw up. Alright. Oh, that's bad. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact that I'm tired. I don't know. I'm not gonna blame that. I'm not gonna blame it on the slot that I was given. I'm not gonna be that person. I'll blame it on myself for not practicing as much. Or for being risky there. I don't know. It's one of the things. Anyhow, this is another global cycle level, and because of the fact that I died, we're not going to make any of the cycles, so yeah, that makes this 10 times better. Let's go. Alright, this part's a little scary. We have to go in the crossfire there and not make the jump. Why would we want to make the jump? That would be stupid. That would be actually impressive if I can make the jump. I know. Woo! Oh my god. This is both the best and worst Splatoon marathon run I think I've ever done. Oh my god. Alright. On the good news, we made half cycle, even though we died twice in the process. So, hey, there's that. Anyhow, we had to wait for this anyways. That's half cycle for you. And did we make this cycle? No, we didn't. Okay, that's the one. This is like the big boy cycle that we want to make, and since we didn't make it, we're losing a lot of time here. You know, just to add on to the pain and suffrage that was Octama and what happened. We won't talk about it. We don't have to talk about it. Okay. We don't have to include that in like a cringe compilation or anything like that. All right, sounds good. Sounds good. All right, thank you. Oh man. I'm probably gonna send that into Glad Jonas if I can get the marathon's consent, because that's never happened to me before. Surprisingly, we're not losing as much time as I thought we were going to. We're only behind by 2 minutes, so that's a little surprised. I'm a little surprised by that. I thought we were gonna lose a lot more time than we actually did. What's good is we don't have to worry about missing any more scrolls, because the rest of the scrolls aren't when I can't see anything, thankfully. Alright, so right there we unlocked that level that we're going to come back to later. Pain and suffrage. Yeah, man, having a right to vote hurts. Okay, look, I'm not even in America, okay? You can't make that joke. You can't... You can't, I can't even vote.
Well, I think you can vote, actually, because, well, we're in another Octo thing. I can talk about some bid wars
Ooh,
you can vote on.
perfect.
That's actually, we can talk about bid wars, but actually beforehand, something I really want to... Right after Refund, which is your 5-minute bonus game, we start the Gunvolt block, and the second game, Mighty Gunvolt Burst, has an incentive to play on hard difficulty. That's only at $5 out of 35, so we really need to see that met, and we really want to see that met, rather. And we don't have a lot of time, so get your donations into that.
For sure, I want to see that. Sounds great. I might be sleeping during it, but that still sounds great. Alright, and another case of shot RNG. I got really unfortunate shot RNG by the Octolings there, where they one-shot killed me there, so that was a little sad. But yeah, it happens. Alright, so we got the scroll, now we just gotta finish the level. Again, this is World 4 onwards. I like how I was trying to be nice to World 4. I was giving it, like, a good pep talk. I was, like, really talking up about it and stuff like that. And then it does that to me, man. Like, it shows you should not have optimism. I'm kidding, but it shows what World 4 does to you sometimes. It really does. Alright, so now we're moving on to... Thankfully, we're almost done this run, so hopefully the suckage will stop now. Now that we're getting into the end game moments. Right here we are onto the last, like, 4 actual levels until we get to the final boss. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. This is actually a really cool skip coming up here. We didn't actually know about this for when All Scrolls started, but because someone found out that there's a wonky hitbox here where you can just climb over this wall to get over those sandbags, it just works, and you can do it, yeah. And we need to because this is the scroll over here, so there we go. And because we have it, might as well use the bubbler when we have the chance. There we go. Just kidding, I'm not going to use it. I don't need it. I'm going to say I don't need it, and I'm going to die. That's... Generally, I've been jinxing myself this entire run, so I'm kind of expecting it at this point. Also, speaking of the bonus run, I just want to quickly shout you guys out for actually making it to $100 already. That's actually amazing, and I was talking right before we reached it. I was mentioning to the staff, I was like, I really hope Refunk gets met. It's a really cool run. It's only been shown off by one person in a marathon, so... and I didn't think it would, so I'm glad it did. Because we were running short on time there, so... Alright, so right here, this is like probably the hardest level unlock here. Basically, I'm trying to throw a bomb perfectly onto that platform down there twice. That should work. There we go. That unlocks that level. That's like the craziest early level unlock that you'll see. And we're not going to do that level until much later. Again, that's way faster than just doing it later. And if you guys don't know, we had this level earlier that I said was the Butt Clench. This is Butt Clench 2.0. This is Flutters 2.0. This is... this one's not as bad, thankfully, because we don't have to worry about the RNG of the Octarian with the key moving as well, because the keys are predetermined and preset, thankfully. But we do have to worry about the Flutters being mean to us, and specifically on the last part. So we're going to have to hope and pray for good RNG. And usually, I've had bad marathon luck with this in the past, where if one Flutter level has good RNG, the other won't. And because I had good RNG on the other Flutter level, I'm not having high hopes for this one. It's already starting off bad for this because I have to go a separate path here. Okay, luckily it doesn't look too bad. So we'll see. Usually they can make you go on an adventure. Oh, this is going to be bad. I'm going to have to do this pixel perfect jump again. You can jump in between the corners of the flutters, but it is pixel perfect. You have to do a very weird angle to jump, but thankfully I got it 2 times in this run, so I think that's a pretty pog moment right there. This is also RNG right here. This Octosniper here, he can be anywhere throughout the level on this flutter that's moving, and we want him to be on the way to the end of the level, which was perfect. So look at that, like, not horrible RNG, not great RNG. I will take it. This was average, and that's all you can ask for in this run, is average RNG. Alright, so there we go. I'm hoping for a sub 125 at this point, which I think we can get. Also, this is like the coolest jump in the overworld movement, in my opinion. You unlock this level, and you die. Yeah, that's it's really cool. Except you don't die. You make everybody else think that you died, but you didn't. No, but you basically unlock that and land on the ink rail, like mid-air, and it looks really cool. But if I didn't mess it up, you know, the usual. I gotta stop talking before things happen. It's a common error that I make. I keep like jinxing myself this run. It's ever since we entered World 4, so maybe I should just, you know, not talk about things that are coming up and talk about them when they happen. There you go. Imagine that. Here's our sunken scroll for this level. We only have 2 more after this, so we're getting to the very end of the run here, guys. And with that, we get to we're gonna have 1 more actual level after this. After this, it's just the boss. This is the only special in the game that's actually required to, as far as I know, you can't do this without the special, without the Inkzuka. Wait, what? Okay, that was a little weird. not gonna lie, that was a little weird. I've never seen that before. That's never happened. There you go. You can say that. You can put that in your books. How many times have I said that in a marathon before? Probably a lot, actually. I don't know. I've been known for finding weird stuff in marathon runs. I don't know why. And having weird things happen, like, you know, dying on Octomos. Yeah. Also, I did mention that I've been golding a lot this run. That second Flutters level, I golded by 20 seconds. So the first Flutter level went decent, but I guess that one went better than I expected and that I thought. So, hey, I'll take it. Like I said, usually one of them goes really well, so I guess that one went really well. Alright, so this is, like I said, this is another sponge observatory level, but because of the fact that these sponges are so far away, it's actually faster not to instantly blow them up with the bombs, except for that one that I did right there, just because it's right in the way of my reticle every single time, so yeah. And right here, we have an Inkzuka here, and we have some Octolings that we're going to have to take out. Alright, but luckily, they will always spawn in the same general area each time, so I can predetermine where they are, and I can kill them right away. Oh, whoops. There we go. And that level's done. And now we have one last actual level, which is going to be Splat Switch. And this is, in my opinion, one of the most unique level themes out there. There are these switches that move platforms if you ink them. So it actually makes for a unique sort of style to the level and interesting layouts that I think make it very unique. So shoutouts to that. Shoutouts to unique level design. This game is full of it. Alright, so while we're doing this last actual level, I would like to quickly make a few shoutouts really quick. If you ever feel like you want a run that is easy to get into, and a little hard to master, I think Splatoon is like one of those games. So I suggest if you have Splatoon and you enjoy the game, consider joining the Discord or just running the game yourselves and picking up on some strats from world record holders. It's, in my opinion, probably one of the best communities out there. Everybody's like very helpful with new runners, and whether you're learning Splatoon 1, Splatoon 2, Splatoon 2 Octo expansion, there's always going to be like dozens of people asking you if you need help learning anything, if you understand everything. Oh, that sucks. Alright. Sub 125 is dead because I have to replay this level. Oh my god. So, basically, the scroll activated behind that platform there, and I was trying not to go into the launch pad, and I did. Oh my god, man. Why did this run start off so good? All of my good gameplay was at the beginning, and now it's just going away. I guess I'm playing a little bit not safe, though. That's my fault. Alright. This level's just so good, I had to show you guys again. It's so unique, I had to play it twice. Alright, there we go. But yeah, again, this game has really good movement. It's very optimized, very interesting with its movement, like I said. A lot of interesting tricks and glitches if you want to get into any percent specifically. And I think it's just a really good speed game that I think everybody could get into if they have it, so if they have the game at least. Alright, let's try not to do that again. Hey, there we go. Well, we'll die in the process, don't worry, we're fine. Thank God I put my estimate as 130, holy, oh my god. If I didn't, we could be in a very tough spot. Like, what if I put my estimate as, like, 125 or something like that? That would have been bad. Also, I would like to shout out that I'm actually submitting this to AGDQ 2020. I know it doesn't look like I can get in with my current skill. Trust me, I'm usually better than this. I don't know what's happening tonight. I don't know. I'm just in a weird mood right now. Maybe that's it. I'm just not in, like, the Splatoon-y mood. It's also the fact I didn't practice before this, so maybe that's it as well. I hope it's still entertaining for you guys, at least. I think it still showed off some skill a little bit. At least a bit. Alright, there we go. We throw a burst bomb right there at that guy to make his hitbox bigger, so that's a real cool strat there. There we go. Activate this platform switch as soon as possible so that we don't have to wait as long for this to come down. There we go. Hit these guys off, and now that we have the scroll, we can just finish the level, thankfully. But yeah, this level had some really good moments. Or, sorry, this run had some really good moments, really bad moments. Don't worry. I mean, that's Splatoon in general, let's be honest. Alright, so this right here, we're going to activate our invincibility here, so we can grab the key through that guy without having to wait for the flutter. Also, that was stupid. Nice little... That's a good showcase of your speed will get destroyed if you get hit by an enemy shot. So there we go. I think 125 is dead, but I mean, whatever. We'll still be underestimated, hopefully. That's true. That's a good way to think. Whenever you're on a bad run, just think, yeah, I'm still playing better than like 99% of the people who played this game casually. So there you go. Alright, so right here we have to launch back up to the launch pad. And I launched the wrong level, but it's fine. That's the second closest level, thankfully, so it's all cool. Never mind, that's not cool. Well. Oh my god, I launched the wrong one again. Launch that one. Just get me out of this run, dude. This run went from okay to really bad to, oh god, please end this now. Alright, this is the final boss. This is DJ Octavio. And in my opinion, one of the coolest looking final bosses and one of the most sour please final bosses out there, in my opinion. Also, one of the most unique looking final bosses in a Nintendo game up until this point. So, hey, if there's one really good thing about Splatoon, I think it's, like, the level design and the boss design, in my opinion. So, just gotta shout that out. And this is the great Zapfish that we have to rescue here. And there he is. Also, I just want to point this out. I'm doing my run of Refunked after this, and I would also like to point out that I haven't practiced Refunked either. So, thankfully, Refunked's a shorter run, so screw-ups don't really mean that much, thankfully. But, yeah. Alright. And also, this boss has really cool music. He's going to remix our face, so that also means something good. Also, this boss, we can save a minute on this boss just by bomb spamming, so you know we're going to do that. And it saves a lot of time, obviously, because he's going to shoot out these fists that we have to shoot back at him, and then he's going to play Ganondorf with us, and we're going to play a little bit of tennis. So, Here we go. And he basically has 5 phases to him. There we go. And yeah, for the most part, it's just dodging him, dodging his attacks, and then hitting him. It's really not that bad. Oh, I knew I was doing these runs. It's just, I kind of figured, because I had the morning time slot, I kind of figured, you know what, my run's probably going to be sloppy anyways, considering that I'm going to be up at 5 in the morning. So I'm just probably not going to practice until the night before, and we'll call it a day. And to be fair, for not practicing until the night before, this is pretty good. Aside from the obvious slip-ups, I didn't make too many big mistakes. Yeah, we won't talk about it, but, you know. But yeah. And as for Refunct, like, when you run these games, as much as I do, even though I have, like, a bunch of speed games that I run, also, this is the Sunken Scroll. Yes, the final boss does have a Sunken Scroll that we have to get as well, so don't miss it, because your run will be invalid if you don't get it. Even though I run, like, a bunch of games, I'm known for running a bunch of games, actually, just running everything I own, I have a feeling, like, every game that I run, it's kind of, like, stuck in my brain. I actually mentioned this, in setup earlier, but I never really forget how to run any of the games that I learn. It's kind of just, like, it's engraved in my mind after that. Like, no matter what happens, it'll always be stuck in my brain. So, like, when I came back to Splatoon, to practice for this run a little bit, just practice the movement and stuff like that for some specific levels, remember where the scrolls were, it was really easy, actually. So, for the most part, it's not hard once you run this game, you know it like the back of your hand. And especially because I grinded this game a lot back in the day, like, it's kind of like pure memory when you get back into it again. And same thing for Refunct. I've been running Refunct a lot recently, so it's kind of been engraved in my mind. So it's not like I'm going to forget how to play. And that one I didn't even need to practice for, in my opinion. Like, I think Refunct is just a game I can switch on and casually run without having to worry about it, so. Alright, so this is where the boss actually starts getting a little bit more interesting, because he starts shooting more stuff at us, giving us more to dodge and stuff like that, more to worry about. And this is where we actually get to worry about more RNG. The boss, you have saw that he shoots these missiles at us at the end when he's pushed back far enough. Basically, his missiles have RNG from this point onwards. They can either shoot... The first one will always shoot in the middle. The second one and the third one always will be random. They can go either left, right, or middle. So, just like shot RNG, we want them to go... Like, generally, we just don't know which way it's going to go, so... And messing up on this can lose upwards of 20 seconds each time you mess up on hitting the missile. Actually, I guess I was wrong. I thought it had to be middle to start off. I guess not. I guess I'm just wrong. Nothing wrong with being wrong every once in a while. God, say that 5 times fast. Holy. All right. Yeah, I'm also in the same boat as you there. I've actually recently gone back to some of the games I've been running way back in the day. Back before I even started streaming, I was running Super Mario Galaxy 2. Like, I used to grind that game before I even, like, was on the internet at all. I just, like, had a timer going and got every star in the game and saw how fast I could do it. And I think I got to, like, a 10 hours, 5 minutes, I think was my best time. Back in the day. I can't replicate that, but... back then I was really good at the game. And recently I got back into running Galaxy 1 and 2, so I don't know, it's mainly for nostalgia of what I used to run, but currently my main speedrun focuses, I've been running a lot of Super Mario Odyssey because I got into Cal Fire, shouts to that. But I've also been running a lot of Celeste because it's my favorite game of all time, so, you know, the usual. I like how we're talking about, like, everything but this boss at this point. It's, like, yeah, it's cool, but it's, like, there's only so much to talk about, for this boss.
We understand how this boss works by the middle of phase 2.
Yeah, but honestly, by the end of phase 1, you kind of know how this boss works. You kind of figure it out. Also, after we get the hit here, I want everybody to spam whatever you want to do. Your Papegas, your Sour Pleases, get them in chat because it's a Squid Sister song and I love it, so it's definitely a Monka-esque kind of moment, so get whatever you like to spam at the end of your runs ready for that. And that'll be like the final stretch. So it looks like we're going to be aiming for about a 126 here, which I guess for all that's happened is pretty decent. Again, could have been like a 122 or 123 if I didn't do the mistakes I did. But considering what happened, I'm proud of it. My best marathon run of this category was actually my current PB, so shoutouts to that. Alright, get your Sour Pleases in chat, guys. And just for reference, time is going to be when he hits the ship after the final hit. In case you don't know. Alright, so right here I'm going to hit that hand back here when I'm close to this. Okay, there we go. I wanted to make it back so I could get him as far back as possible, thankfully, but it kind of worked out. Basically, you want to shoot his hands back as far as possible on the first one, while you're close to the ink rail, and because basically, oh, that's bad. Well, whatever. That actually doesn't mess up anything. That doesn't mess up any of the boss because no matter what, I would have to do 2 more sections of this. So thankfully, it didn't mess anything up. Also, I'm running low on ink, apparently. All right, shoot this back in. But yeah, something to know about me, we were mentioning how I like running a lot of games and stuff like that. What I mean by that is, when I started streaming and speedrunning, I know how everybody likes to pick like one game and stuff like that. I'm known for running multiple games. So if you like want to follow my streaming, I actually don't stream on Twitch, I stream on YouTube. It's just Kingj0444, just so you know. But you probably won't see Splatoon much there, and the reason why is because, again, I prefer to stream. I don't like being known for one game. I like being known for multiple, so I don't want to be just known for one game and stick to it and be forced to stream it every day. I like doing whatever I want, and that includes Mario Odyssey, other 3D Mario games, Celeste, Splatoon, Runner 3, stuff like that. Refunct. Yeah, exactly. A variety speedrunner. I never thought of that term before, but yeah, that's a good way to put it. I like that. Alright, and this is going to be the final hit. I messed up on the final stretch there a little bit, so... And I messed up on the final hit. Hey, look at that. Let's just make this a 127. Alright. Please end. Please end this, boss. I'm getting sick of this now. All this, like, end game stuff that's been going wrong is kind of getting to my head now. And time's coming up here when he hits the ship. And time. That's a 127.27. So there you go. Whew, that run had a lot of bad stuff happen. Ooh. Alright, that, yeah. That was pretty bad, but, that's Splatoon All Scrolls. At least we went under estimate, so there you go. That's all that matters. So, thank you for coming out to the run. Thank you, Speed Stuff for Charity, for accepting this, and I guess I will set up for Refunct. That's basically All Scrolls, so if you want to run any Splatoon game, I'm open in DMs on Discord. I think a lot of people are, and we also have a Discord server as well for the Splatoon series, so definitely join that, and we'll get you set up and get ready to, like, with any tricks that you need help with and stuff like that. So, yeah, enjoy the waiting screen, guys.